Welcome back to Gerodynamics. Okay, so I am going to combine the review for episodes. What are we on here? We're on episode 4 and 5. I want to keep these reviews short, anyways, and these really do kind of just go together. Basically, in episode. And also keep in mind spoilers if you haven't watched these episodes. Keep that in mind. There will be spoilers in this video. Okay, so episode 4, they're driving along in the truck that they had gotten from Bill, and making good progress. And then they come to basically like a blockade type thing. There's a bunch of traffic from cars that have been abandoned, but the going underneath this bridge is actually like blocked off. And so they're trying to figure out a way around the bridge. Well, it ends up taking them into what we come to find out is Kansas City. Uh, and so in Kansas City, some people attack them and basically cause them to lose the truck. And so they're kind of stranded in Kansas City for episode 4 and 5. So we're dealing with them trying to get out of Kansas City. So in Kansas City, there was a quarantine zone, but there there has been an overthrow of the quarantine zone by this rebellion, and there's this rebel leader who, let's see, Kathleen, I think is her name. I'll go back to it. But there's this rebel leader who's overthrown the quarantine zone with her rebellion. Um, and the rebellion is actually looking for old holdouts that were like turning them in and causing them to get killed by the quarantine zone leaders. And so they're looking for the last remnants of the quarantine zone and people who were working with the quarantine zone turning them in. So they're the ones that found Ellie and Joel. And so they thought that maybe they were associated with the quarantine zone, or the people who they're basically trying to find. So they think they're going after Joel and Ellie as a part of this faction. But Ellie and Joel obviously just want to get out of Kansas City and keep moving on with their journey. So anyway, so let me go back here so I can tell you who everybody is. The actress who plays Kathleen is a pretty big actress. Her name is Melanie Lynskey. She's done a bunch of stuff. Most people probably know her from Two and a Half Men. What was the name of her character in that show? Let me pull it up here. The Two and a Half Men. That was a while back too. Let's see, what was the name of her character in Two and a Half Men? Oh, that's going back way far. Rose, that's right. She was Rose in Two and a Half Men. And I mean, she's done a bunch of stuff though. You could have known her. She started out as a child actress, I believe. Heavenly Creatures. There you go. She was Pauline in Heavenly Creatures. She was in The Frighteners. She was in Ever After. I'm just kind of going up the thing. Detroit Rock City. Um, Coyote Ugly. Let's see. Sweet Home Alabama. I think she was the lady with the baby in the bar. Let's see, what else might you know her from? Since I'm scrolling up here, let's see. Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I think she was only in one episode though. I don't think she was a main character on that. Um, she's done a lot of one-offs. Um, but I want to get to the big thing that she's been a part of recently. All right, so she is. Sorry, I'm going on a tangent talking about her. She's Shauna, older Shauna in Yellow Jackets is the what I wanted to get to. Because if you haven't watched that show, first season, watch that because the second season's coming out here pretty soon. Yellow Jackets is a good show. I really really like that show, and I recommend it. I'm not doing like the episode reviews of that. Maybe I should. We'll see. But Yellow Jackets definitely a show to watch. She's in that show, and she's one of the main characters. Because there's when they're all young, and then when they're all older, or the ones that survived when they're older, and she's one of the older characters. Anyways, watch that show. So she's in this show as the rebel leader, and I know a lot of people were like making a big deal out of it. Like, how is she leading a rebellion? She's kind of just like mom status. Not that she's like overweight. She's not really overweight. She's like just an average, sized woman. Especially a middle aged woman, and I think she's a good looking woman for especially for her age. Uh, but some people are like saying she's overweight, which very few people. I mostly see it doesn't make sense that a mom is leading a rebellion. Why would they listen to her? I think they make it pretty clear in the episodes why they're listening to her and why they're following her. She's tough, and she kind of took over leadership from her brother who died before the episode. And that's why they're going after these other people, because they turned her brother over. And that caused her brother to die. And he was the leader of the rebellion, and so she took over from him. Makes sense to me. I don't know why people are complaining about it. And I could see people listening to her, even though maybe like she wouldn't have started the rebellion per se, but I could see why they're following her. Anyways, we'll get away from that. She's a really good actress, and I think she does a good job in these two episodes. Um, the other main characters are Henry and Sam, which again I didn't play the games, but Henry and Sam are big characters in the games. Um, they're brothers, but Henry is the older brother, and he's quite a bit older. So it's almost like a father son relationship too, or uncle nephew. But he's quite a bit older, and he's trying to take care of Sam. He's trying to not get captured by Kathleen because she wants to kill him. And so they're in hiding, and that's who the rebellion's looking for. And they think that maybe Joel and Ellie are associated with him. Well, during their attempts to escape Kansas City, they do come across Henry and Sam, and then they all try to escape together. Well, in the midst of this big escape, the they almost make it out, and then there's this guy who's like in this high house who's watch kind of like the watch guard. He starts shooting at them, and then the rebellion catches up to them, and they're about to capture Henry and Sam. And Henry kind of goes out to try to get them to let Sam go, and that he'll turn himself in and please let Sam go. And Kathleen doesn't seem like she's going to go for that. Well, then something that they had kind of like hinted at earlier, in I think in the episode 4, not episode 5, um, there's something underground. Well, at the end of this episode, you see what it is. It's basically a bunch of infected, and like I guess that's something we're going to come across, is like big like underground gatherings of these things. And so they burst through the ground, and they come and they start like washing over the rebellion and everybody, and there's this big battle scene with all these infected. It's really cool looking. They do a pretty good job. I like that about this series, that that yes, the infected are kind of a big part of it, but it's mostly about the people. And so they don't like waste a lot of the assets. They don't like waste a lot of the special effects and stuff. um, so when they do have these scenes, they're able to make them look really good, I think. The infected all look really good when you see them. You don't see them constantly, and I think they do a good job of demonstrating them and using the special effects to show that. Well, anyways, so I guess there's a big boss too, and I think it's called a bloater, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, there's this giant infected that comes out of the ground, and not much is able to hurt it, and they're shooting at it, and it's just kind of like taking the bullets and stuff, and it's just ripping people in half, and all this really like graphic stuff. And Yeah. So and then there's a baby, like a little girl infected. It's really sad, but there's this little girl infected that plays a big part in it. So basically, during that, Henry, Sam, Ellie, and Joel are able to escape. Um, Kathleen gets like killed by the little girl infected. Most of the rebellion is probably wiped out. Maybe a few make it out, but I think pretty much your takeaway is that they were wiped out. So Kansas City's gone, and so the four of them make it out of Kansas City, and they make it to a stop where they're able to stay the night. And you've come to find out that Sam got infected. The younger brother got infected during the whole ordeal. Um, it's actually pretty sad. He's telling Ellie they're trying to like be friends, and he's telling Ellie that it's not going to matter. He's gonna be taken. Ellie tries to like quote unquote cure him by rubbing her, like cutting her arm and rubbing her blood on his infected wound. It's pretty sad, because like a child, she just doesn't know, she doesn't understand, and she just wants to do anything she can to like save him. But she doesn't tell anybody either that he's infected, and so they just go to sleep. Well, she wakes up before like he just outright mauls her. But she wakes up and he's sitting on the bed like with his back turned to her, and she's like Sam, and like he turns around and he's obviously infected and attacks her, and then they come busting out of the room, and then Joel and Henry are there, and Henry ends up shooting Sam to stop it. And then he's just is distraught at what has happened and what he's done, and he takes his own life. It was all very very sad, and it's fast, and it just kind of like just hits you out of nowhere because you think they make it out type thing, and it just kind of hits you out of nowhere. And yeah, so that's how you end that episode on that really really dark sad moment. That they've lost Henry and Sam. So well, those two episodes were good. They built the story. They continued on. We got more character development. We lost major characters again. you know, I mean, major characters for the episode, not from the beginning of the show because no one survives long enough. But we lost major characters again. Three major characters at the very end of that episode. All the three major characters from the episode from the last two episodes. So all right. Well, I hope you enjoyed my review, and I hope you enjoyed those episodes if you watched them. And yeah, everybody, take care. Have a good day.